Good morning, colleagues. The legislature is back in session in the Committee of the Whole. When we left last night, we were on Mayor's Council Round 1. Mayor's Council Round 1. Did somebody have the floor? Okay, I'm sorry, Round 2. Round 2, Mayor's Council. Would anybody like to be recognized? Anybody like to be recognized? Mayor's Council Round 2 is done. So we're going to go to amendments now. So we'll be in a 1-minute recess to get amendments that are proffered. committee of the whole is back in order. We will recognize on the First Amendment Senator Therese Terlahi. And this amendment, colleagues, is TMT P113. Senator Terlahi, you recognize.
Good morning, colleagues. We're here on the Mayor's Council of Guam chapter. We heard from BBMR that the mayors are receiving the same amount as what they received last year after we passed the supplemental budget to give them an additional $4 million. And we know that when the mayors came in to talk, they asked for certain things, and they did a very good job, I thought, of laying out their budget and their needs. And I think they had asked us for $10 million more than what they had received in FY25. And that was to do additional things, but also to do some very special things that were kind of one-time things that they wanted to accomplish in this fiscal year, which was the purchase of some equipment, including the heavy equipment, one piece of heavy equipment, software, so that they could process all the residency requests in their villages more efficiently. And they had asked for software. They have a team of procurement experts now so that they can process their procurements quicker, which seemed to have been a very big issue for them. And of course, they wanted to see more personnel and make sure that they don't get any decreases in personnel. So this one amendment that I have before us is to make sure that the unexpended appropriated funds available to the Mayor's Council of Guam in prior fiscal years shall not lapse and shall be available in fiscal year 2026. And this is again to make sure that they can just get through all the pending procurement processes and hirings that they are currently undergoing. Thank you.
Susmasi, Senator, on the amendment, on the Terlahi amendment, anyone wish to speak? Senator Barnes, you're recognized.
Situs Masi, Mr. Chair, Zenmanala Situs to all. I rise in support of this amendment. We know that the mayors are the 24/7 facilitators for their villages. They literally, from the recycling programs to the cleanups to just entertaining any and all concerns from their villages, they're there 24/7. And this continuing appropriation from what is lapsed is necessary to continue the work that they do. So I want to thank the author from the village of Chonya for putting this amendment in, and I support the efforts. Susmasi.
Susmasi, on the amendment, the Terlahi amendment, Senator Snogstein, you recognize.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. You know, I stand in full support of this amendment, and if there's any continued appropriation we should support and authorize, it is this one. We constantly refer to our mayors as the front line, and that they are. Because of this, we must ensure that the funding provided to them remains with them to finish the projects they undertake for the benefit of our communities. And I also ask our colleagues to support this amendment. Thank you, Mr. Chair.
Susmasi, Senator, on the amendment, Senator Tadegui, you're recognized.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Mr. Chair, I also sit in full support of this amendment. There are a lot of variables that are going to be happening in the next year or so, you know, adjusting to not having what we had before in the last 4 years, and it's a huge excess revenue. We're going to be experiencing tough times, and I think this amendment is needed to address some of those issues that might come about. I mean, we also have issues with EPA losing funding through some cuts from federal government cuts. And I'm not sure how this affects the mayors or if it provides them funding But if it does, then there's another variable why we should support this amendment and give them what they can now. And I just hope to goodness that we will be able to find the funding that they really asked for later on down the road, like we did in the supplemental. So I stand in full, or sit in full support of this amendment. Thank you, Mr. Chair, and thank you to all the hardworking mayors and especially their staff. Let's not forget them. They are behind the scenes working just as hard. Thank you, Mr. Chair.
Mrs. Masi, Senator Tadigui. On the amendment, Senator Tadigui, Tulay, you want to close?
I would waive closing, but could I ask one question to OFB while they're here?
Certainly.
Thank
OFB,
you.
yield.
Could you please just clarify on page 111, the section 6 regarding recycling revolving funds? It says 1.5, it says the appropriation for the island-wide cleanup program shall be used to continue. Is this an old appropriation that we're continuing, or is this just accounting for that 1.5 that was appropriated through EPA's budget when we were at the EPA section? Because this is not an additional money, right?
Senator, my understanding of this particular fund and the way we're presenting it here in the budget is because I believe the recycling revolving fund is under GEPA, and then it's deposited in the GEPA, and then in order for the monies to get transferred to the mayors, we need authorization for that to happen. So that's why this provision is in there that appropriates the 1.5 million from the Guam Environmental Protection to the Mayor's Council. It's kind of like a, I won't say a pass-through, but it's the only way to get the monies from GEPA's fund to the mayors.
Thank you. So is the fiscal year 2024 sufficient, or do we need to include 2025 also? And 2026?
I believe we do this, Senator, every year. So whatever funds are available at the end of the year, and again, that's subject to, again, whether or not they have the authority to continue the use of those funds. Otherwise, we just appropriate it every year.
Okay, yeah. So I'm wondering if we need to update this to make it for 25, since this is 2024 from a 2023 MOU, and whether we need to include all of them, or hopefully my language will cover it all, that they get to keep even the funds from EPA into the continuing years.
It's my understanding is they're utilizing the MOU that was initiated back in FY23 as the basis for the appropriation to continue in future budget acts.
Okay, thank you. All right. So on that, I ask my colleagues for their support on this amendment that will allow the mayors to continue to use these funds from everywhere, from recycling revolving funds, the general fund, and all, the other funds that they receive on a continuing basis until they're expended. Thank you, Mr. Chair.
On the July amendment, are there objections? Amendment passes. Thank you, Senator July. We are on the next amendment. Colleagues, this is proffered by Senator Burnett. This is CHL 23 PII3. Senator Burnett, you're recognized.
Sidus Masi, and good morning on you, Mr. Chairman. And Sidus to the people of Guam. Thank you for watching this great budget session on this beautiful Wednesday morning. Sidus Masi. Mr. Chair, this time I'd like to proffer the following amendment. It is to amend line 23, page 113, to add a new section 8 to chapter 8 to read as Section 8, notwithstanding any other provision of law, the sum of $4 million is hereby appropriated from the net unobligated fiscal year 2026 general fund revenue balance to the Mayor's Council of Guam. Mr. Chair, it's very important that we support our mayors, and this budget as is like us sending the mayors to the store to buy with $2 to buy a $7 latangkatni Tesinia, they just can't do it, Mr. Chair. I think they're very clear when they communicated their needs in the budget hearing. I think they've also been very clear when they've communicated not their needs, more accurately, Mr. Chair, the needs of the villages, the needs of our people in the villages. And those needs are many. And this budget as written, I don't believe gives the mayors the resources that they need to deliver those services to our people in the villages. The Mayor's Council of Guam Executive Director, Mrs. Joy Jean Arceo, who is a familiar face to many of us here in the session hall and the building, said, our mayors are at the front lines and increasingly they are expected to do more with less. And I would counter that I don't even think we can do more with this amount. And so, Mayor, Mr. Chair, I ask for the support of my colleagues. And this amendment, as Mrs. Arceo went on to further say, that it's not about politics. It's about being properly equipped to deliver on the growing expectations of their residents. And those expectations, Mr. Chair, clean neighborhoods, safe roads, and responsive leadership. Our mayors work very, very hard, Mr. Chair, and I think it's prudent and also the right thing to do. It's an obligation for the body to support the mayors by passing this amendment with this appropriation, which will, in essence, make them whole again and give them the amount of budget that they say they need to execute their mandates and to serve our people in the villages, Mr. Chair. Sidus Masi and I ask, put favor the support of my colleagues for the passage of this amendment.
On the Burnett amendment, anyone wish to speak? Are there any objections? There is an objection on the amendment. All in favor of the amendment, please indicate by raising your hand. Amendment fails. We are on the next amendment. This is proffered by Senator Joe Snogstein. This amendment, colleagues, is JSSA L20 PII3. Senator Snogstein, you're recognized.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. You know, this amendment is to strike out the section 7. And I just wanted to emphasize to my colleagues, when you strike it out, it doesn't mean it's taking the money away. It's striking the word allocation. So, and then I remind my colleagues that last year, we appropriated the same amount in the supplemental bill to cover the cost of the community maintenance workers. When we did this, we also gave them the latitude to use the funds to support all their employees, not just the community maintenance workers. And this request was proffered and requested by the MCOG, and it's allowed them to have the flexibility of the funds that will be used to pay for the much-needed staff that work hard every day to keep our communities clean for their residents and our island's tourists. I ask for my colleagues' support on this amendment. Thank you, Mr. Chair.
Sidus Masi, Senator Snogstein. On the Snogstein amendment, Senator, you beat me to it. My next one is the same thing, but good efficiency because I won't have to proffer mine. On the Snogstein amendment, anyone wish to speak? Speaker Talai, you're recognized.
Sidus Masi, I just want to clarify because some of the mayors were very concerned. I don't know what they heard about the money for the community maintenance workers being put at DPW. So I just want to assure them by this amendment that community maintenance workers remain at the Mayor's Council of Guam. They will remain in the villages. They, in fact, are being given an increased latitude of how they spend the money that was previously allocated just for community maintenance workers to now use it for all other purposes if necessary. And
thank you, Senator and Senator Snogstein, and along with my explanation that I'll put out exactly, that's going to be preserved. Go ahead, Senator Snogstein.
Yes, Mr. Chairman, and to my colleagues, yes, and for the mayors and for the people of Guam, no, the community workers stay with the community, stay with the mayors, and let them continue to do the job that they've been hired to do and to help us keep our island clean. Thank you, Mr. Chair.
On the Snogstein amendment, anyone wish to speak? Seeing and hearing none, amendment passed. Any objections? No objections, amendment passes. Senators, I'm going to ask for some latitude, otherwise I'll recess. Can I withdraw my amendment from here? Okay, nobody's going to get mad at me, so.
Mr. Chair, I'd like to also withdraw mine, which is next. which is
Okay.
a continued appropriation that our colleague from Jona did already
Okay,
author
sounds
properly.
good. So let me
All
do
right.
mine first, real quick from the chair. CMD L20 PII3. I move to withdraw. Anyone object to my motion? Amendments withdrawn. Next amendment, I will let you withdraw it from the chair there, Senator.
Thank
Is
you, Mr.
JSSA L24 P113. Senator Snogstein, you recognize.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Yeah, I'd like to withdraw my amendment. It already was false proffered by the good senator from Zona, and just asked to have it withdrawn. Thank you, sir.
To withdraw the amendment, the motion that by the senator. Is there an objection? Amendments withdrawn.
Even 113, the next one?
Senators, we are now on the next amendment proffered by Senator Barnett. This is CBL 23 PII3 or P113 Roman numeral II. Senator Barnett, you recognize.
Sidus Masi, Mr. Chair, and again, Manana Sidus to the people of Guam. This amendment I'm proffering is an amendment to line 23, page 113 to amend Chapter 8 and add a new section to read as use of unobligated fiscal year 2026 general fund balances for community-based grants administered by the Mayor's Council of Guam. There's a couple sections in here, notwithstanding any other provision of law, the sum of up to $250,000 from the net unobligated balance of the FY2026 general fund is hereby authorized to be expended by the Mayor's Council of Guam for the purpose of issuing grants to eligible organizations on our island. Authorized funds may be used for operational costs, including personnel or contractual services and relevant expenses. The Mayor's Council of Guam shall issue such grants to support the operations, programs, or initiatives of 1, sports organizations, including youth, adult, and intergenerational leagues and programs. 2, community development organizations, which provide services or activities that strengthen neighborhood engagement, safety, education, or civic involvement. And 3, wellness organizations, which promote mental, physical, or emotional health and wellness through programs, outreach, or support services. Section B, the Mayor's Council of Guam shall establish guidelines and procedures for application, award, and monitoring of these grants, ensuring equitable access and fiscal accountability. A report identifying each recipient, the amount awarded, and a description of the funded activities shall be submitted to Magaʹhågan, Guåhan, and the Speaker of the Legislature in Guåhan no later than September 30th, 2027. Mr. Chair, the BPT reduction being considered in this budget bill to the tune of $40 million. This $250,000 grant program is 0.006% of that amount, Mr. Chair. These grants would go to support community organizations, as we discussed yesterday with the Department of Parks and Recreation. A lot of these leagues, people, kids, families, they want to play sports, but in a lot of cases they just can't afford it. And so these grants to be administered by the Mayor's Council of Guam would go to, for example, in the event of sports, subsidizing a baseball team so that the village kids can go and play in a baseball league and not have to fork out-of-pocket expenses, Mr. Chair. Also, the community development organizations which provide services or activities that strengthen neighborhood engagement, safety, education, or civic involvement. A good example of these types of organizations, Mr. Chair, would be neighborhood watch programs. Wellness organizations which promote mental, physical, or emotional health and wellness through programs, outreach, and support services, Mr. Chair. I ask the support of my colleagues in establishing this grant program and getting these funds out to the villages. The mayors know all of these organizations. They know who's in the community trying to make a difference. And these funds, Mr. Chair, will go to directly benefit our people in the villages, our children, our families. And I just urge the support of my colleagues, Mr. Chair. It's a nominal amount of $250,000, and I think it's going to go a long way to supporting efforts with sports, wellness, and other civic engagement activities in the community. Sidus Masi, Mr. Chair. And again, I humbly ask the support of my colleagues this morning.
On the Barnett Amendment, anybody wish to speak? Senator Tina Munoz-Barnes, Ranking Member, you're recognized.
Sidus Masi, Mr. Chair. I do rise in support of this amendment, Mr. Chair, but I would like to ask the author, based on his reading of the amendment and the initiatives, he spoke about where this grant funding was going to go through, and he read other provisions on the breakdown. Is that included, because this is the budget bill, is that already included into the amendment as is before us?
Senator, you yield? Can you restate the question, Ranking Member?
So when he talked about the 200 up to the 250,000, there was a delineation for sports organizations, including youth, adults, and intergenerational leagues and programs. And then he continued to speak, and he added more inclusions into it. And I just wanted to know if that was all included from a previous budget bill or a previous statute, because I'm hoping that we can make sure that everything is included. I support the amendment. I stand and rise in support of this amendment. I truly believe that this is literally very minuscule, as he noted, to support these organizations and all these programs that work closely with the mayors. I don't know if you know, Mr. Chair, that even in the recent teams that have just gone up, whether it be Women's League, whether it be the Little League World Series, whether it be the basketball tournament, I mean, we're truly stepping up to the plate and becoming true ambassadors of Guam in representation in the different sports and the different programs. And you name it, the mayor's support for the children and the athletes in the villages have gone far beyond. The women's basketball team, I know that. They played in Vietnam last month and they became champions. The baseball team for the Little League World Series that the mayor supported went all the way to won the regional tournament, went all the way to Williamsport. I mean, we've got to continue to step up and show that we are supporting these efforts. But I wanted to make sure that as he continued reading, the good author of this amendment, that he included all those provisions. So just a second recess just to see what he was reading in case we need to include it.
Ranking Member, he says that he can address it right now as an address to you on the record.
Sidus Masi, Mr. Chair. This is all new language modeled on similar programs, and this language was developed in concert with the Mayor's Council of Guam. And Mr. Chair, your law, the Limited Gaming Fund, provides funds similar to these similar funds that can be used in very similar ways to this, but the fund is tracking low, and so the mayors wanted more flexibility to be able to give out these grants to different organizations, not necessarily covered by the limited gaming fund. So this language is something that the Mayor's Council of Guam supports, and it's something that they believe will give them the flexibility to hand out grants, not just within the confines of what the limited gaming funds allow, since that fund is tracking low, but for other types of organizations included in the language in the amendment. And I will say, Mr. Chair, that when I was reading off the amendment, I did offer examples for the Neighborhood Watch program. That wasn't necessarily in the language of the amendment dispensa, but this language is very similar to other grant program language, and it was developed with the assistance of the Mayor's Council. Sidus Masi.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. And again, in the efforts of supporting what the good author from Talifofo wants to do, I want to make sure that everything that he shared was all inclusive, and I wanted to make sure that it was included so that the mayors can be able to expend for the listed items he noted. And it's a very positive thing. It shows that we are giving back to our community, working closely with our athletes, with our children, and all the sports and other programs that are out there. So I just wanted to make sure that it's all inclusive. So thank you for giving me the opportunity to speak on this measure and say I will support this one.
Thank you, Ranking Member. On the Barnett Amendment, anybody wish to speak? Senator Barnett, you want to close?
Sidus Masi, Mr. Chair. Just again, humbly asking my colleagues to support this effort to support our sports teams, community organizations, our families, our children out in the villages. Sidus Masi, Mr. Chair.
On the Barnett Amendment, anybody wish to, or is there any objections? There is an objection. All those in favor of the Barnett Amendment, please indicate by raising your hand. Amendment fails. 1 minute recess. The Committee of the Whole is back in order. We have the next amendment by Senator Sabrina Salas Montanani. This is SSM P113. Unfortunately, the fund balance does not support it, so I'm going to have to rule it out of order. Senators, we are now complete with the amendments on Mayor's Council of Guam. Mayor's Council has been heard. Committee of the Whole is back in order. We are now on Chapter 9. Is that right? 1 minus 10. Chapter 9, Public Accountability, Standards and Practices, the Office of the Public Accountability, Part 1. And I'm just going to go ahead and read it into the record. I think Steve excused himself for a moment, our OFB Director. So their summary of appropriation is general fund appropriation. You can follow along with this in your, in your packet as well, the budget if you have it in front of you. The general fund is $2,252,943 for a total of $2,252,943, and that is the appropriation. Anyone wish to speak on round 1 for public accountability, OPA? Second, round 2, hearing and seeing none, the OPA has been heard. Colleagues, we are now going to Chapter 10, 9 Part 2, sorry. Okay, So yeah, so Chapter 9, Part 2 we are now in. And in Part 2, this is an appropriation for $699,600. And that is a summary of that appropriation, and it is from the Guam Board of Accountancy Fund Board. Yeah, from that.
Mr. Chair, wasn't there an amendment for the last chapter?
Yes, and so basically it's a continuation of the chapter.
Okay.
So the OPA is not
together?
it's not closed altogether. It's just that part of the chapter. So we're now in the other part of the chapter. So I'm going to ask if there's any discussion on the other part of the chapter, this appropriation for $699,600. Are there anyone wish to speak on the first round? Senator Talahi, you're recognized.
Yes, I just wanted to inquire. I had an inquiry about whether some of this had to be reflected in the revenue, and whether we needed to make sure that it is this fund, I guess, whether we had inadvertently not represented it.
Sure. So we'll have Vanessa from the OFB discuss that.
Guam Board of Accountancy?
Yes.
Yes, Senator, so for the Guam Board of Accountancy Fund, it is part of our special funds in Chapter 1.
Okay,
It's part
thank
of
you.
the special funds, yes. You still have the floor, Senator.
That's all. Thank you.
Okay, so round 1, round 2. Okay, we do have an amendment, or maybe 2 amendments in this, so I'll take a short recess. Senators, Committee of the Whole is back in order. We only have one amendment. Do you require it to be passed out, or can I read it into the record and then we proceed? Is there any objection to that? Seeing and hearing no objection, I will read. One minute recess. Committee of the Whole is back in order. Senator Taitigui has an amendment in the second chapter of Chapter 9 that we just opened and discussed on. This amendment, colleagues, is TTT L18 P114, and it reads, continuing appropriation authorization, notwithstanding any other provision of law, the allotted budget or the allotted but unexpended balance of funds appropriated to the Office of Public Accountability for fiscal year 2025 shall not lapse and shall continue to be available until fully expended. Senator Taitigui, you're recognized.
Thank you, Mr. Chair, and thank you for reading that amendment out, because I didn't see it on our desk right now, and it's a very simple amendment. You know, the Public Auditor's Office has done such great strides in keeping us informed, most especially transparent. And, you know, I was able even to talk to him about this.
Point of order, Mr. Chair. Do we have copies of that? This is just on the drive. Do we have the paper?
Yeah,
I'm sorry. Did I miss it?
I asked to proceed without it,
Oh,
but
okay,
if you
no
want a
problem.
copy, I can take a recess.
Sorry
Okay.
about
Yeah,
that.
Senator Taitigui, you may continue. It's a continuing appropriation, kind of same language that we've been going through. Senator Tadegui, you recognize.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. And again, thank you for reading this out for us so that we all know what this is about. And again, transparency, accountability, that's what this office is all about. In fact, I even had the opportunity to speak to the public auditor regarding this $35 million that are supposed to be in a box, an account somewhere, or where did it go? And had him go back all the way to FY22 on his audits to review it. And he came back to me and said, nope, he doesn't find it anywhere as well. So that I just wanted to make sure, and that's who that's our go-to guy for everybody. So we need to continue to support the Office of Accountability. We need to support the hard work of these individuals working there who are constantly being perched from that office to go somewhere else as well. So I appreciate appreciate your support on this lapse. Thank you, Mr. Chair.
Certainly, Senator. Yes, it's not in the account, but it was appropriated, so we're handling that legally. Thank you. On the amendment by
I'm
Senator
sorry,
Tadegui.
Mr. Chair. I'm sorry, I didn't hear that. It's not in an account, but
That's
it was
right.
appropriated?
Correct. It was appropriated, but it's not in that account.
Since you brought that up, Mr.
yeah,
Chair, can you
there's
tell me where it was appropriated to?
We did that when we debated the amendment. Speaker Frank Blas can provide it for you. It was the budget appropriation in fiscal year 2022. On the amendment, does anybody wish to speak on the Tadegui amendment? Seeing and hearing none, Senator, you would like to close?
Yes, and thank you again for your support, Mr. Chair, in reading it out. But you know, the point again, Mr. Chair, on that $35 million, it's already been appropriated. There's no money, so thank you.
We'll show it to you, Senator Tadegui. Thank you. Is there any objection to the Tadegui amendment? No objection. Amendment passes, and that will now close the second part of Chapter 9, Public Accountability. Public accountability has been heard. Colleagues, we are now on Chapter 10, the Guam Visitors Bureau. We will have, at this point, we will have the Budget Director of OFB discuss the appropriation for the Guam Visitors Bureau.
Okay, thank you, Mr. Chairman. For the Guam Visitors Bureau appropriation for FY26, total amount being appropriated out of the general fund is $3,245,571, and out of the tourist attraction fund is $25,727,166, for a total of $28,972,737. And that's basically the appropriation for GVB for 2026.
Committee of the Whole is back in order. On the Guam Visitors Bureau budget, is there anyone that wishes to speak on GVB Chapter 10? Senator Talahi, you recognize.
Thank you. Correct me if I'm wrong, Mr. Guerrero, that this budget, the bill before us, is now funding GVB out of the general fund, $3.245 million. And last year, it was only funded out of the tourist attraction fund.
That is correct, Senator, and the reason why is last year I believe we subsidized GVB. Oh, no. Last year we didn't subsidize. It was up to G. But this year, because the TAF is lagging behind, not collecting up to par, we try to maintain the same level they had for FY25. So the only way to do that was to subsidize them out of the general fund.
But didn't we first of all, yeah, I don't agree with subsidizing it out of the general fund when we're trying to subsidize other things out of the general fund. This is a very exclusive, they have exclusive use of the tourist attraction fund, but in chapter 1, didn't it show that you were increasing the projection on the tourist attraction fund?
No, Senator, we reduced the projection by $2 million over FY25 level.
Okay, so that reduced by $2 million, but this general fund subsidy is $3 million some. So this is, how does this then compare to FY25, the whole total?
Yes, Senator. Again, keep in mind that the TAF, I believe, funds six different other items we included in the budget. One included the bond. We fund the audit, the annual audit. We also subsidize GPD, I think in the amount of $4 million, $5 million. And then for DPR, I think.
Okay, that's good. I think those are all necessary and they should actually be getting more. But I think now I remember asking you in chapter 1, why with all their plans and all their recovery plans, are they predicting a decrease in the tourist attraction fund for FY26 when we are further out from COVID than FY25?
Senator, right now, if you look at the TAF is lagging about almost $6-7 million from our projection. We decrease the revenue projections for next year by about $2 million. But with all the planning, the incentive, and everything else that is expected to happen within the next year, we hope that they would get up at least to the revenue projection that we are estimating for 26. So that in itself right now is about a $6 million shortfall over FY25 levels, even by reducing the TAF by $2 million in its projection.
All right, so it's tracking $6 million short. You would have projected that continued $2 million short, except because of their recovery efforts. You're willing to move it up by $6 million, you're saying?
Just to the current year level, Senator.
Yeah. All right. I guess it's a big philosophy change to, we have to support in many other agencies, particularly Parks and Rec, taking care of the beaches and the parks. But we are very, very short there. We saw that that's a status quo budget. And if GVB is not committing to take care of those things, yet we're going to give them general fund monies to, I just think we should have an agreement. Who's taking care of what? Or are we just going to be not able to take care of our parks and still give more of the general fund while they're getting the entirety or most of it from the tourist attraction fund? I don't know. This is I want to see some analysis on this, like, if they, we've had meetings and they're discussing what all of Guam has to do to support tourism, but we're unable to do that if we don't have enough revenues. And yeah, so I just wanted to know if they're tracking less in FY25, are they receiving less? Are they receiving what they're tracking, or are they receiving more? Like, is that being made up by the general fund in any way for FY25?
In those areas, departments and agencies that were being funded out of the TAF, again, what we try to do is maintain the same level going into FY26. If it involves an increase in subsidy from the general fund, that we did it only up to the level of 25. That's all we did. We didn't give them any more.
Yeah, but I'm asking you, in 25 right now, if they're, you said it's tracking $6 million less than what was projected for FY25. So are they receiving what was projected currently, or are they just receiving what is actually being accounted for?
It could
collected?
Again, the way the appropriations can be distributed can be one of two ways. Either BBMR and DOA continues to pay out of the fund that they were originally appropriated out of, and then at the end, and if the fund again incurs a shortfall, then of course, at the end of the year, the general fund will come in and cover it. Or BBMR can control the release of the allotments up to the collection level, and then anything above that would probably have to be paid out of the general fund. I'm not too sure exactly which way they're taking this, but I'm thinking those are the two ways that you can accomplish that.
Well, that's what I wanted to know, what BBMR had decided to do right now while they're tracking short. Are they subsidizing that with general fund monies or not? Okay. All right, that's my question. That's my big concern is to shift from, GVB supposed to be operating with TAF, and yeah, and we're looking at subsidizing in another section of this chapter by several million, maybe 10 million, and we're with general fund money. We're also trying to support and boost the tourism through our agencies with their work in the villages, their work in the parks and recreation and all of those things that make Guam what it is. So I'm very concerned about that. So thank you.
Susmasi,
So we're giving them more than what they're tracking for, is really what we're doing for FY26. We're going to give them this much more, 3 million more than what they're tracking, maybe 6 million more than what they're currently tracking. And we're going to also
thank you, Senator.
give them 10 million in general fund boost in another chapter. Thank you.
Senator. If you want to continue, we're in round 2 on GVB. Round 2. Any comments? Seeing none, GVB is closed. 1 minute recess to transition to miscellaneous. Senators, the Committee of the Whole is back in order. Senators, when we go to Chapter 11, I want to make sure that I'm clear so that you understand what we're going to do here. We are going to discuss the chapter as a whole, not go section by section. If you have questions in the chapter, I will open up for 2 5-minute rounds to have questions for the chapter. So please make sure if you haven't already reviewed it thoroughly, that you review it so that you have questions for the chapter. When we're done with the 2 rounds of questions for the chapter, we will go to amendments. There is one exception that I'm going to make in this because many of you have had questions on the GVB appropriation for the program. So we will be bringing GVB and other officials in to explain the program in the Committee of the Whole. We are in recess until 1 o'clock for lunch.